What is going on, everybody? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can see me. I was running late. Obviously, y'all are here. I see a lot of great people in chat. What up, Obi? How's it going? Rouster. We have Gracie Louise here. Oh my goodness. Ambi's here. Sanchez is here. Jeff, it's 8:03. Hit the goal. I did, Jeff. I did. That was on me. That was on me. Hey Crow, what's going on? Um, uh, yes, and Ambi was talking about this the other day. Thank you, Sanchez, for buying Ambi that. I don't hear some takes. I down. Whoa. No, no, we can't. You can't. You can't. Hold on. Wait, you can't. Hold on. We can't see you. You can't hear me. Wait. Yes. Wait. Can you hear me? I hear you. Oh, you can. I don't know, y'all. It's new. Because thank I'm like, oh, that was gonna be awkward because I was like, I don't know what's going on. All right, well, you can. Okay. Okay. Well, today, this is actually the last Shades of Purple for this year. I know. Last time was the last Shades of Purple for my other place. As you can see, I'm in like a new place. Like it's like an actual gaming room. If I were to, that's my gaming TV, and it's a whole room. I'll have it set up and looking pretty cool here in a little bit. Thank you, Obi. I see you with. No way, yeah, it is my last one for the year. Oh no, Louis, you weren't here last week. Yeah, that was my last Shades of Purple in the apartment. So I moved officially Monday to this to my new home. And yeah, even though I kind of been living in both places for like the last few weeks, it's like officially moved in. So we can hear in two for we can't hear. We need, yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, we definitely need it. I should probably take y'all on a tour of the house. Some of y'all I think I've seen it. I think I've showed some of y'all some of it. But no, this is the last Shades of Purple. What's up, Rune? For the year. And I do want to talk about a couple of things. Like, right, I know Holtz did this earlier on Rock's channel. But just it was a big 2023. I've already told you I don't think 2024 can for me. I'm not saying for others it can't. Obviously, you have Grand Theft Auto 6. So if you're a big fan of that franchise, 2024 is going to be huge for you. But for me, we have Pikmin launch this year, Remnant 2 launch this year, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom launch this year. So those are three that I was really looking forward to. Next year, we have Little Nightmares that I'm looking forward to. So still some pretty big stuff. We're going to have a new Dark Pictures anthology game launch as well. So I think next year is going to be pretty big too for gaming. Oh snap, purple! Hey Jinx, what's going on? Hit the like, guys. We need to get purple too on the internet. It's like I'm just here. It's social. I told you it's social for me. It's social for me. Grand Theft Auto is 20. Oh, it is. It is, Rune. Look at me. I'm off. I'm off. I'm here to chew bubble gum and get some purple shade, and I'm all about bubble gum. Well, I have some purple shade. So I want to thank Sanchez Gaming in chat. Sanchez actually asked. So I go back. each show. I think I've told you all this. I go back each show to read chat because a lot of times, like I'm missing chat or so forth. And about 80 to 90% of the time, it's exactly kind of how I remember it. Sometimes there's comments, and I'll message you all privately if there was a question you asked. Sanchez asked this question, and I somewhat kind of just went over it, right? So I answered it, but I went back and I thought about it. So, and I was going to do a purple shade, and I still may do that. But Sanchez, for you, you asked me about the PlayStation lawsuit. So I do want to talk about that. Because I do have an opinion on it, and I think it's gonna probably be a little bit of mix, a mixed opinion. So I do want to talk about that. I also want to talk about, layoffs. So right, this week or last week, we heard a lot of layoffs in the gaming industry, continuing layoffs, and I'm gonna tell you all this. I don't think layoffs are really uh, a win or a loss for anybody. I think they're all losses. So I know we heard there were layoffs at PlayStation. We've heard there's been layoffs at Epic and EA, Embracer, obviously. And I'm going to tell you, there's going to probably be another massive layoff here pretty soon with Xbox and Activision. Like it just is, it's what happens. Like after acquisitions, layoffs happen. And I don't think that's a victory. And so when that does happen, you're not gonna see me, like, cheering for that because, those are people's livelihoods, and it doesn't feel good. As someone who's been laid off, it does not feel good, yeah, as y'all know. And so I think that's a major loss when that happens. So I am gonna be talking fire. I am gonna be talking lawsuits, but yeah, I wanted to throw that out because I think we are gonna see a pretty big substantial um, layoff soon with one of the big companies, like substantial. Um, and then I also wanted to, and I don't think they're going to be the only ones, right? Like I think we may see that as well coming from Take Two. I don't think we've talked about Take Two in a while. I know Get Grand Theft Auto is about to release, but Zynga, I don't think y'all have been following it, but Zynga has not actually been performing that well for Take Two, and for that matter, most mobile gaming is not. They do say it's going to stabilize in 2024, um, but I still think you're going to have winners and losers as far as companies for that. So I'm more than willing to talk about that. Um, so what did I put in there? I said layoffs. Oh, leaks. You know, uh, you know, I saw a lot of people covering leaks, and y'all probably noticed I don't really cover leaks that much just because for me, um, unless a company wants me to know something, like I don't go look for it. So initially when they said, "Hey, the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer leaked," I didn't go look it up. So y'all may remember during the Game Awards, I told Lo-Fi like, "Hey, I want to see this trailer." And he's like, "Oh, it was already posted, blah blah blah." But I thought it was a leak. I didn't realize Take Two or Rockstar had intentionally put it out there. But for me, like I don't take roadmaps. I take that with a grain of salt. As someone who builds roadmaps, there's many different iterations of a roadmap. Different teams build roadmaps for different purposes. So a perfect example in my world, you may have a content team build a roadmap, a financial team build a roadmap, a strat ops team build a roadmap, a policy team build a roadmap, and they're not all synced. That's totally not uncommon for there to be that. And so I heard that there was this leak in a roadmap, and what does this mean? And to me, it's like unless the company releases it, especially anything outside of 2 years. This is why I don't get excited for games that people are like, "Oh, it's coming in 3 to 4 years." Because there's so much things that can change. Like 2 years, definitely 12 months, you can usually not lock it in, but in business, when you get outside of that 24-month mark, um, really the 12-month mark, but definitely the 24-month mark, it's crazy. Like usually businesses only do strategies, and I mentioned this before, on 3-year increments. Um, they usually like do the first year is like to to actually plan, what it is, take observations, so forth. The second years they actually implement. The third year they then evaluate. Then then they decide like should we keep going or should we not? Like that's usually how it happens. And so when I see something that people are like, "Oh, they showed us everything for 10 years," like it's like don't get yourself like that's all it takes is a different, director, VP, and then the roadmap changes. Like that's what happens. So, the leak was wild. Was it legend? Was it? I don't cover it. I don't cover it too much, um, like I saw y'all know him as Doc Dark 1985. He was posting some wild stuff on Twitter. And I was like, seriously, Doc? But you know why Doc does it, right? Sensationalizing things. Louis out there, also another sensationalizer, but they do it in fun. Um, but that's why you don't post things because unless unless you have all the facts, and I can tell you, even within companies, very rarely does someone have all the facts, like within the company. Um, Definitely outside, like you just don't know. You could have games that are wildly successful selling, and for one reason or another, they don't get a second pass. You can have other games that weren't, and for the exact same reasons, like it may be a pet project, it may be something else. They do get a, they'll get a sequel. They'll continue to go on. This is basically like the entertainment industry as a whole. So regardless, I don't think that that's any comfort for if you loved a game that didn't get the best press, but you loved it. Like for me, Outriders, I'm not sure if we'll ever see Outriders again. But it was an amazing game. And does that mean it was a failure? Does that mean it had a lot of bugs when it first came out? Uh, but a lot of games do, right? And I think it's a pretty enjoyable game now. So I don't know how we got here, but overall with leaks, like I just don't cover them. Right. I think some people are like, hey, Purple, they sent me messages on Twitter, like, hey, are you gonna cover this? And it's like, no, it's the same thing. Like y'all never have seen me talk about leaks. Um, just because, yeah, that's not my thing. So yeah, but let me see what y'all are saying. Severin's in. Oh, welcome, Severin. Yeah, shiz, it sounds that's just how it goes. Yeah, Severin, that's how it goes. What was that about Jim Ryan selling his PlayStation stocks? PlayStation doesn't have stocks. Sony does. Sony has stocks, but again, so here's the thing, like it's not the same as like Microsoft. So I think I told y'all this. Like I own Nintendo stock, and that's the most problematic stock I own, right? Because you can't just buy Nintendo stock. You can buy certain stocks that mimic Nintendo, like NTDOY. That's what I buy. But there's so many different like kind of tax situations with that stuff that and it's a Japanese company. Like so it's not a US company. And Jim Ryan, if I'm mistaken, isn't even a US citizen. It's just weird when people start talking about people who are selling things, Jim Ryan's retiring, like that's kind of what you do. He may be taking on a board position. So, like, I sit on one of the boards I sit on. I actually had to sell stocks because there was a conflict of interest. There's so many different reasons, like why people liquidate positions. Um, another person who sold stocks over the last 2 weeks, Mark Zuckerberg sold stocks, right? In Meta. So again, I unless you really understand it, and for execs, they actually have to announce they're selling stocks, um, uh, like, months in advance, like several quarters in advance. So, like, when they have these things called quiet periods where you cannot sell or buy, and the higher up you go in a company, the longer that quiet period is. So, meaning, like, a quiet period means you can't buy your own shares and you can't sell them. And so, like, when you're like the CEO, like your quiet period's like a year. And when you're on the board, it's like it's you have to like ma- let people know way far in advance that you're either buying or selling, and especially for execs, a lot of times their compensation's mostly stock. So, yeah, it could be for any number of reasons. Rule of thumb from my IT experience: the people on Twitter sharing the leaked document, setting yourself up for a potential lawsuit if the company finds it out. You're sharing, yeah, as we found from the person who did the Grand Theft Auto leak. Did y'all read about this? Life in mental jail. I forget, but it was like it was some long one. I don't think the life sentence actually means really life, but yeah. Right before the leaks, there are shows, games, etc. that I enjoy a lot and never get a sequel or season. It's a shame. Exactly, Rouster. Um, since 8 on Netflix, I really like that show. Not getting another season. Um, Hey, I don't repost stuff or talk about things like that. Whoops, it was the angel. Jim Ryan sold his personal stock, not company stocks. Personal stocks, not company. Uh, sure. Purple, is Sony in trouble? Is Sony in trouble? I don't. I don't know. I mean, um, Sony as a company, are they in trouble? I think hardware is always a tough business, right? But I think actually Sony is on the upswing. If you think about some of the biggest hardware, let's think outside the PlayStation. Actually, the top TVs, right? For a while, it was Sony in the early 2000s. Then it went to Samsung there towards the late 2010s. Then LG just dominated, right? And up until basically last year, LG OLED was the standard bearer. It's now went back to Sony. So I would say depending on where you're at, what you mean by it could be. I think definitely their entertainment business is extremely strong. So I don't know if they're in trouble. Like people forget Sony owns Crunchyroll. Like I don't know if they're in trouble. I just think things could be changing. That's for everybody. But we'll see. What do you mean by that, Xbox, Louis? It's very common for an outgoing to sell off their shares before they leave a company. I thought it depends, unless he's going to the board. Sometimes that may happen, right? Severin, he had to get new white shirts. Like what? What? It's quite the jack. Some that is for sure. Most CEOs are. Most people to get to that level. Um, there's some founders who are pretty benevolent, but once you become like a CEO and uh you didn't found the like you're not a founder. What I've found out is most CEOs are like extreme jerks. Anything you hear otherwise is because they want you to think otherwise. Like there was something one time when they said Warren Buffett's wife, for example, was commenting on the price of coffee. And you can read about this. You can read about this. Like Warren Buffett's wife said, "Oh, look how expensive coffee's gotten." And everybody was like, "Oh my god, Warren Buffett's like us. He's a billionaire, but he's even thinking it's more expensive." And you find out like when you dig into it, you're like, "Well, where did they say this?" And they said this at like some like senior exec retreat and so forth. And this was the only comment that came out of said retreat, right? And so you're like, well, and so you're like, if you if you're like me, you're like, well, what did they talk about at this retreat? You're kidding me if you're telling me they're talking about coffee. And they're like, no, that's just true. Warren Buffett, he drives the same car and blah blah blah. Let me tell you, for someone who had to plan at my previous company for Warren Buffett to come. Okay. There is an immense amount of stuff that we have to do, protocols we have to do. His private jet comes in, he has his own escort, he has his own bodyguard system. There's tons of stuff he has to do. So you're not going to convince me that this dude is worried about a $4 cup of coffee. No. These people who are acting as like the benevolent leader, that's all part of their image. Jeff Bezos, part of his image. Mark Zuckerberg, part of his image. Elon Musk buying like a 80 they said he bought this like small house in Texas. Did they tell you he bought like an entire town in Texas too? No, because it's all part of their image. They're crafting it. So when I hear about like, oh, this guy's a jackass, like, yeah, how do you think he got there? Let me tell you, he probably took credit for a lot of people's work. He probably killed someone. He probably did a whole bunch of stuff. Like, yeah, this is why you'll never see me become a CEO. I'll never become one because I don't. That's not me. I don't have that in me. Um, Maybe I shouldn't say that too loud, but it's true. Making decisions on those boards. No, not making big decisions. Just a lot of different conflicts of interest are a big deal. Can get PlayStation Christmas stockings instead. Oh, there PlayStation Christmas stockings? I want Ghostbuster Christmas stockings. But hello, hey Dave Wilson. Oh man, y'all are go. I need to catch up. Some East Asian companies are passed down through a family. Family businesses are some of the biggest businesses are family businesses. Actually, they would say who we think are the wealthiest people are not actually the wealthiest people. Oh, well, let me say. There's probably some really wealthy people who we just don't know about. Obviously, the Walton family, obviously, the Mars family. These are huge uh, fortunes. But there's probably other family fortunes that are astronomically high. We just don't know because it's all private. Purple, how much you need to invest in stocks? You don't really need that much. If you what stock? Nintendo? I told you if like earlier this year, Nintendo stock was trading at I think I invested at like 9.45 and now it's trading at like $12, I think. Um, so you only need like $10 to invest in that. And Nintendo stock pays you dividends. And that's where it gets complicated because you get taxed like several times because it's international. But I can talk about that if you want, Sanchez. Just let me know. I had Access Blizzard stock. I had Activision Blizzard stock. Actually did an option on Activision Blizzard right before they reported their earnings in February. So options trading, if you know, that means you're leveraging. So I had it at $72 a share and I sold it at 85. I sold it right before the EU ruling. Um, and to me that was fine. If Sony stock goes down, make sure to purchase. They could be acquired in the near future. I don't know if they would be acquired, Louis. Yeah, Blue Eye Samurai is really good. Thankfully, it's getting a second. Ross, you keep talking about this. Hey, it's Joe. Joe, what's going on? What's going on with your game? Y'all, if you did not know, Joe is a game dev, so definitely doing really well. I don't know how well they aren't doing it, and it doesn't matter to me, but they are definitely alarmed by certain things, and if it's their reports, but for sure most companies are. So I mean you always have that. It depends on what part of the business that you're talking about. I think look at me. I bought like because I was running late, I brought my whole gallon of water because I usually have water. So I bought a whole gallon. So apologies, y'all. Um, Apologies, but I drink a lot of water. Um, Love my crib. You have like a bed or your house? When every time I hear that word, I think of that. Purple knows about something I have never. I've talked about this on how good their products was back in the day. Their their products are really good. Love my Crunchyroll. Yeah, I don't watch anime really, so Crunchyroll isn't for me. But it makes a ton of money. That's all I can say on that one. Um, what the heck? I'm trying to get all my cords together here. So I got like this cool desk, y'all, that and it hides cords and stuff, but I don't know. It's like I said, I rushed to set everything up, so I'm still setting it up. What are good companies to invest in purple? Sanchez, ask me this question in about 5 minutes. Let me catch up and then ask it again and I'll tell you. And purple and Louis Holtz, they're good investments. Uh True. CEO of Purple Haze Inc. No, I don't idolize anyone to the degree where I think they can do no wrong. Anyway, plus Purple, I'm a coder. You know how we are treated like cogs in a machine already. Yeah, you are, Severin. That's no joke there. Let's Purple Haze Inc. You know, my current man, I'll talk about my year here. 2023 was interesting year. Cammy! Kate, I sent you a message on Discord, but I think you responded. So, or not Discord, LinkedIn, or not LinkedIn, Twitter. I'm like going through everything. Damn, my extra shy. What a crazy. What are you getting, Louis? What are you getting? Blue Eye Samurais, Geek, you and Rouse were talking about that. That's a lot of magic. Yeah, it is. Blue Eye Samurai, they were the West Story, huh? Are you in your new house? I am, Rouster. I am. All good. Game is still working in the background slowly, but we'll get there. Joe, how are you doing though in general? I know last year was a tough year for you towards the end there. So curious just how you're doing. Gotta look out my veterans. I want to buy the up and down desk. Yeah, I have it. I didn't get the extra large Louis, but I did get the Secret Lab, whatever. What says it here? Magnus Pro, Magnum Pro, Mag Pro. It's pretty cool. I like it. To my son, he's 17 now. Whoa, 17. That means he can watch rated R movies alone, right? Was that a thing? Did I just make that age up? How I have to thousands there was a lot of racist towards foreigners there. What are you talking about? History class stuff going on. Um, uh, nice. My son is 17, 18 in June. Solid. I've had a great 2023. Yeah, 2023 is really interesting for me. So I think it started off. I got a fish tank, and it's what they call planted tank. So like everything in there, it's not plastic. It was live fish, and so it started off with that. So that was really interesting. Like it was something I hadn't planned on. So I ended up getting that. Then y'all know I got Remy, who's here on the side. He's sleeping. I got Remy again. Didn't plan for that. Then at work, um, so there's a difference between progression and promotion. And so I've been really frustrated. Y'all have heard me talk about it. So didn't get promoted, but I did progress. So what's the difference? You're like, what is the difference, Purple? Well, promotion's like when you go up a level, but progression sometimes you gotta like go a different path. It's something new. It's something that can lead to something bigger and better. And so that's what happened. I actually went under the manager I've been wanting to get under for 4 years. So that happened this year, and towards the end of last year, like, that was not the case. Like, I was actually, very close to leaving my company. And so that, some resiliency for y'all who are maybe struggling there at work. Sometimes it's not your current role that you'll get promoted in. Sometimes you have to look at a different avenue. And so far, I'm really excited about that. I know last week I talked about my boss. It wasn't really my boss's boss. It was like my old team wanting me to do stuff last week, and I had a moment of clarity over the weekend. But my current boss is pretty legit. Um, she's just amazing. Uh, Powerhouse that she is, and I don't want to say like she's actually a fairly famous person. So I don't want to say because y'all could probably figure me out, but yeah, so I'm really excited to be under her. I got rid of my standing desk as was tired of cable management. Yeah, so the Secret Labs desk the whole has this thing in the back that like you can hide all the wires. It's actually pretty cool. Yeah. I was joking. I'm biracial myself. That yep. Severance biracial. A hunt. The good stuff at Purple. What do you mean hunt the good stuff? Free. What do you mean hunt the goods? What are we hunting? I love Christmas shopping. I love giving gifts. Well, tell us what you're getting, Louis. Let us get excited. Uh, you know. But yeah, Sanchez. So you asked about stocks. I could talk all day. So Sanchez, this is what I tell you. This is what I say about stocks, about companies. Invest. This is my theory. This is my theory on in any type of investment. So I have some alternative investments. So not stocks, not houses, but like I invest in uh surprisingly, I think y'all may know this. I invest in whiskey, actually. Yeah, like whiskey. Um, and I invest in watches. I invest in other things that they consider alternative investments. And one of my golden rules is to invest in products I believe in. So this is actually a true story about my probably the investment that paid off the most as far as how much I put in and how much I got out. like how much it multiplied up. Um, and so back in 2006, I just had bought you know, um, a new car, and it came with it hadn't come with it. It actually I had to get this, like, portable thing put into it, and it was satellite radio. I thought it was the coolest thing back then because it was like it never had static, like, it was always playing, and it was playing, like, stations I really liked, and it wasn't a lot of talk, and so I thought that was really cool. And so I had it, and then fast forward to, February of 2009, and all hell is breaking loose, right? And y'all can go look, you can go check this out. And the company was Sirius. It wasn't Sirius XM, it was just Sirius because there used to be XM satellite radio and Sirius XM. And and I bought the stock. It was crazy. I bought the stock at like 9.5 cents a share. It wasn't 10, but it was at 9. It was like something crazy like that. And over the next like 3 years, that like stock ended up going up to like, what did I sell it at? I think I sold it at like $2.10. So what that means is like I made like over 2,000% profit. It's the biggest one I've ever had. And it's all because I liked it. Another company I really like, I think when Ace was on the show, Wendy's. Same time period, I bought Wendy's at like $3.90, $4.20, somewhere around there. And I sold it at like $20 a few years ago. Again, like 500%. And it's because I like it. And so the same thing goes with companies. Like if you believe in it, uh, like and it's offering some value to you, like it's something tangible, then invest in it because that means like you believe in it. And so that's what I say the same thing about whiskey. So um I think I told y'all, maybe not, maybe one of my shows I told y'all about this. Uh one of one of the whiskeys that I invest in, it's a whiskey from Crown Royal. So a Canadian whiskey brand. So not like, Scottish whiskey, but Canadian Crown. It's Crown Royal, but it's not regular Crown, like right. So back in 2007, Crown Royal released a whiskey called Cask 16, like Cask 16. And it was one of the highest rated whiskeys outside of Scotland that year. I it was actually one of the first ones where I could really like, when people do like wine tastings or whiskey tastings, and they'll be like, I can taste like lemongrass or whatever. Well, when I tasted this whiskey, I actually could taste the notes, like the notes that the whiskey was supposed to have, like so chocolate and orange. Don't get me wrong, don't taste this and think it's gonna taste like chocolate, but I really liked it. Um, Fast forward to 2013, and I found out that they were gonna discontinue this whiskey, Cask 16. And so at the time I was living in Seattle, Washington, and and this, you couldn't find this whiskey in the United States at that time afterwards. And so what ended up happening was I would go up to Vancouver, which was like 3 hours north, and I would go up like once or twice a month and buy 6 or 7 bottles of this, right? So after a while, I ended up getting like around like 40 to 50 bottles of Cask 16. And it's because I liked it, okay? And in my mind, I was like, "Okay, it's going out," and simple idea of supply and demand, I said, "Okay, it's rare, it was highly rated, and it's kinda unique because it's a Canadian whiskey that rated pretty high." And so I bought it, and I think it averaged between, like, $72 to $81 USD because of the Canadian dollar US exchange rate. So, like, I have, like, 40 something bottles of this stuff, and that you can go look at how much it is. I think it's down. I think they're like worth like somewhere like around 12 to $1,400 now. But at their high end, they're usually rated at like 3,000 to 3,500 sometimes. But that's like an investment, right? And that's something that I enjoy it. Like I like it. Same thing with chocolate. Like, right? I like chocolate. So who do I invest in? I invest in Mars Candy, right? Who are Mondelez or Cocoa. Um, so what I think that's a long round answer, Sanchez, to say is invest in companies that you believe in, that you like. And then you can start looking at indicators. Does this company pay me money? So Wendy's paid me money to hold their stock. Nintendo pays me a money to hold their stock. What else? Like my watches. Like I have, like I think I showed y'all. Like I like my watches. This is one of my babies here, and it's like it appreciates in value as I wear it. So I always look for that investments that if I give them money, are they giving me something back to hold it, or am I getting some type of value out of holding it? The whiskey, even if it went bad, it was like my favorite whiskey. Not like the whiskey when it went bad, but if the investment just never took off, like, did I enjoy it? So I always am a believer of the company I'm investing in, just as a rule of thumb. And then, like, if they're giving you something in advance, some type of value, that usually tells you the strength of the company. Like companies, uh give dividends when they have profit to give investors. So that's kind of a quick rule of thumb. That's not always the case. You could fall into a dividend trap like AT&T, I think is the one I think of a lot of times, IBM as well. But again, if it's something you enjoy, go invest in that. You like Dodge? Winstar, hey Winstar, what's going on? Ethan's Reserve being a personal favorite. Oh, y'all are talking about Canadian whiskey. I told you I could talk forever about this stuff. Wendy's like it's more affordable than the shares. They are now. Now Wendy's shares are like 22, 23. I forget. I haven't seen it in a while. But hey, Jinx, Jinx. I also don't trust the banks either. Severn doesn't trust anybody. Like Severn, just say you don't trust anybody. I invested in Vesicle Gold and Star. I have some dragon in me somewhere, I suppose. No, it's like totally well. Like, so once you invest in it, like once you like, here's the thing. So, like, right, first find something that you like, then find something, then see if they're giving you some type of value for it, like money, or maybe it's like art. Like my watches are all like really unique, and like this is a black mother of pearl with white. Let me see, I can show you. Black mother of pearl with white diamonds across and white gold throughout. So it's a very rare, very one of a kind because black mother of pearl, Tahitian uh, pearl is what they call it. Is it's unique. It's like it's something. So I always look at that like what is the uniqueness of it. So right, do I like it? What is the scarcity of it? And then I look at what am I getting out of it? And then once you own it, or maybe you're looking at owning it, understand the business model, right? Understand why is that going to like what makes that go up? Why do people want that? And that's kind of sometimes why I get into the scarcity of it. Maybe you would know that they're about to do something big. So last year, if y'all had invested in Take Two Interactive around this time, you would have probably saw an appreciation of 60% in a year. It's crazy, right? But if you knew take Grand Theft Auto 6, if that's your thing, you knew that was coming out, right? Um, and so that's really big. Activision Blizzard, Louis talked about that one not too long ago. If you really thought that deal was going through and not with too many structural issues that would hurt it, uh, maybe you go buy Microsoft, even though I think Microsoft went up more because of ChatGPT. You could have bought Activision Blizzard, and you would have saw from last year around this time. I think you would have saw like an appreciation of maybe 15%, 20%, maybe. I don't know what they were last year at that time. Um, and those are good things. And then the last thing about an investment that I'll leave you with Sanchez about what's a good company. And I think this is more about investing. I haven't really told you about a company. The other thing you should know is understand what is your goal when investing. I only invest in stocks that pay dividends. There you go. Jeff likes to pay things that pay him. I think that's a great idea. Um, and what is your goal with the investment is the last thing I'll leave you with, right? There's probably more steps I could tell you. Uh, but ultimately, what are you trying to get out of this? Are you trying to be a speculative bet, right? So that is going to be your take two, right? That's very speculative. You're like, they're going to go up, so they're going to do well. Microsoft, I actually had Microsoft at one time and I bought it at $26 and I sold it at like 102. And I bought it in the the winter of 2012 and I held it until when did I sell that stock? I think I sold it around 2015, 2016. And so that was a speculative bet. But two things. Microsoft was paying me a dividend at the time. And if you remember this time, I remember it perfectly. That's why I can tell you what was happening. This was at the end of the Xbox 360 era, and they had said that they were about to announce the Xbox One launch. And so I thought that was going to help Microsoft. Also, we started to hear that they were going to change their CEO. So I thought Steve Ballmer was a lag on the stock. So I said, okay, any CEO is better than Steve Ballmer. And what do you know? Both of those things happened. Microsoft stock went up like 400%, and then I sold it. And my whole goal, like I said, some people like there's some stocks I just hold because I'm like I believe in the company and they pay me. So Jeff talks about he likes stocks that pay him dividends. I hold Intel Core, right? Um, why do I hold Intel Core? It pays me. And I think that the US Jobs and Chips Act from 2 years ago really benefits uh, domestic US companies who are into chips, like microchips, right? And I think that if you look at what Intel's been doing, if you look at how they've been kind of leaning into gaming and saying, hey, we're going to provide cheaper chips, if you look at the fact that they've been investing in new chip systems, you can almost say, like, hey, Intel's going to maybe turn it around. Also, if you look at Intel got a new CEO, you start to do some of that, like what they call qualitative analysis. And then um, qualitative meaning it's not numbers, like it's very specific to that company. And then quantitative being like actual numbers and stuff. You start to do that and you start to get a good idea, like, okay, this may be a better investment than others. You start to understand the business that kind of goes hand in hand with that. And then you understand like what is it that you want to get out of it. And some people say that's risk profile. Like, so is that means that you are you trying to gamble? Are you trying to make money? Do you want passive income? Uh, do you want somewhere where you can just hold your money and preserve your wealth? Like all of those are different types of strategies and to tell you the truth, probably the best strategy is you utilize like all of those at different times, right? Like so bonds or stocks. But like I said, there's also this thing. Hey Jenna, how are you? You also utilize this thing when you talk about what is it? Like the alternative investments, right? So like my whiskey investment, that's purely because it's scarcity, right? There's not that much of it. And then it kind of spikes every few years when they talk about whiskeys that are no longer here that people wish they could taste. Like, and so uh yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Sanchez, or if you're still here, but I hope that does that. Like I said, I could talk all day about financial stuff. I choose to talk about gaming because I talk about this stuff like uh, a lot other places. Chat Purple should do an investment show. Let's do put a poll on AXI. Maybe I'll talk. I'm sorry, y'all. I go off on that. I apologize, but I will talk about Intel's losing to AMD at the moment. Consoles are using AMD. All that. Yeah, I'm not saying, but I look at. I'm not saying that they're not separate. AMD is a powerhouse of a company. What I am saying though is I think Intel is undervalued. And so I bought Intel last year at $26 a share. Last time I checked, I don't know, y'all, what the ticker symbol. You can look up INTC in that ticker symbol, maybe 42. Last time I checked, I think Intel was at 41, $42. It may be higher. I just know it pays me. It satisfies my things. And if I bought it at $26 a share, plus my dividends, I'm getting very close to like doubling my money in less than 12 to 18 months, which you're gonna find a hard investment to do that. Again, I'm not saying and I think this is where y'all have to like where my strategy is different than other people. Like I'm not saying who's gonna win or who's not, right? Part of my strategy is to see like what do I like. You never heard me say something about who's going to dominate, right? Because who's dominating now may already be an overvalued asset. What you hear me say is like whose story, like if you're really hearing it, it's who do I believe in, right? Who do I believe in? A lot of times, and then if I'm going to make that investment, what is there? Like, what's the entry point? How much am I willing to invest in it? And again, these are all like different types of different strategies when it comes to how you do it. I'm just telling you what I do. I'm not saying that's the number one thing, but I've been doing it for over 20 something years, and I think like I do pretty well for myself, right? Like, um, yeah, I can, and I'm more than willing to share that with you. But if you have something different, go ahead. 47 currently. There you go. I didn't even know that, right? It must have jumped over the last month or something because I don't keep track of it. So when you look at that and you look at like the investment was potentially 2,000 shares, it's up $21. That means in a year I make $42,000 if I was to sell that, right? And because that's investment and because that I've held that for over 12 months, that means I only have to pay 20% tax on that long-term capital gains. That's actually not true because Intel pays a dividend every 4 months. So or every 3 months. So actuality is I probably am closer to like $49 a share on that. So, yeah, take it for what it's worth. It looks like Sony is cracking down people that are downloading the stolen Insomniac Diary, working with ISPs and getting the thieves' IP address. Yeah, don't mess with that type of stuff, Jenna. Like I tell people, I don't talk about leak unless the company tells me. I don't do it. I don't do it. Yeah, they like, thank you for that. I'm on vacation and I'm not processing where it's like qualitative and quantitative inventory until after. I'll just tell y'all. I'm just telling y'all how I think about it. Like I said, I could talk stocks, I could talk housing, investments. Like that's probably I've been doing that for a long time. I did that in the army a lot. Like I told you, my call sign was Wall Street. Literally was my call sign downrange or when I was deployed. It'd be like Wall Street. Um, I've been doing it for, like I said, a second. Uh, and then when I had an option to become a an equities researcher. So what that means is like equities are like stocks. You call stocks equities, and I decided not to do that because as an equities researcher, you almost have to be you can't have a conflict of interest. So what they do is like they have certain sectors that they like. So let's say telecommunications. So you look at Verizon, AT&T, if Sprint was still a stock, or you look at all those companies and then you kind of assess the value. They said you can't trade in that. Same thing as a consultant, like if you are a banker, if you do business with that type of industry, you can't do it. So I found that even though I think I would have enjoyed my job, I didn't want to take away my independence and not be able to do that. So yeah, so I actually did go to school to become an equities researcher at one time. Like if you actually read those essays, it actually says like I want to be an equities researcher. It's kind of crazy. Roger is cool call sign. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I was always, but that was back then. Like, and now I talk games. I talk games, y'all. So thank you, Sanchez, for all that. But I actually didn't answer the question, right? Sanchez asked me a question about the Sony lawsuit. So here's my answer to that. I actually think this is a mixed bag for Sony. Here's the reason why. I don't believe is Sony in the wrong here. I actually think they are. But I don't think it's because of the lawsuit. Well, not particularly. Here's the reason why. And because it's because yes, and if you haven't, let me catch y'all up if y'all don't know what we're talking about. Sony is being hit with an anti-competitive lawsuit, anti-consumer lawsuit, really, because they are only allowing you to purchase digital games in their digital store. All right. So what that means is like if you want to go buy a Sony game, you can only purchase it really through their digital store. This is kind of like an interesting case. Um, and so what this group, this advocate's doing is saying, like, hey, this is ripping off consumers, right? Because consumers are losing money. If Sony would allow other games to be sold other places, consumers would benefit. So Sony owes like, I don't know, like some crazy number, right? Uh and I think it has its merits, but I don't think it's a consumer case. This is my thing. I think it's a business case, a business to business case, meaning I think similar to like Epic's case, right? If you think about where Epic is suing Google and Apple, right? That's not a consumer case, right? You could easily turn the Epic Google case into like, well, consumers are having to pay higher prices because they're having to get the game through the Play Store. But that's not a lawsuit, right? Just because a company passes on expenses to consumers is not a lawsuit. Consumer lawsuits look like things that are pharmaceuticals or commodities or things that are actually what they consider necessary goods, right? You have to have a consumer harm. So higher prices usually means like you have a pure monopoly on it. It's not gonna happen with an entertainment issue. Like there's just not a lot of merit to it. However, if you were to see the lawsuit pick up steam from like businesses now saying that you're limiting our ability to compete with you, now you're starting to get into different territory, right? And that's actually what's happened with Epic and Google, which I still think Epic's gonna. I think this is gonna be a more narrow judgment than it currently is. But that's why I say, like, yes, what they're highlighting is an issue, but what they're highlighting, it just doesn't play out the same way. Because here's the thing: for everybody who's like, well, Sony's doing this, we have to think about where do these third party digital stores get the codes to give away for digital games, right? And here's a great example. Like if you were to go to um cdkeys.com, where do you think CD Keys gets their digital codes? Not just for PlayStation, but for Nintendo and Xbox and so forth. Do you think Nintendo gives them those codes? Do you think Xbox gives them the codes? Do you think, name your company, Take Two gives them the codes? No, they don't. Right? And so that's why I think this case is interesting because it's going to shine a light further on like the gaming industry. If it goes further, I don't think consumers raising prices on consumers in this way is not, it's not like the case doesn't really hold up to scrutiny. Um but yeah, that's the thing. Like digital codes, you can actually, it's different. But again, if businesses were to actually say, hey, you're limiting our ability to compete because we now can't go through this other channel to sell our game because you're locking it down, blah, 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 that might be able to, um, that, that may have the thing. 8 billion is bigger than 700 million. Yeah, it is. But I can guarantee you the Google Play Store makes more than PlayStation does. And that's why I say even if, but that's a business to business transaction and you aren't forced to buy it. Yeah, exactly. Jenna, you hit it on the head. Exactly what I just, it's not a consumer anti-consumer case is something like um if y'all remember when Amazon had digital books and Apple had digital books and they were both keeping prices at a certain level, that is now where you're raising prices. That's colluding, right? And that's like that's like usually where consumers harm happen, is because those two publishers like had the entire market and they artificially raised the price. And so now consumers, if they wanted it, were having to pay that price. But the fact of the matter is, like, if consumers want to go buy like another console, like Xbox, like they can, or Nintendo, they can, and they can play the same game. It's just a weird, like, you're gonna find it hard pressed to say, like, Sony can't charge you a certain game for their first party game, because that's what it comes down to. And, I just don't know if consumers have the merit in the case, like I said. Purple, where do we get the Windows 15 codes? From what $15 codes? I heard Windows codes were free. I thought it was dodgy or stolen places, or does it even legal? Um, I mean, I think you can, that's the whole thing. Digital codes are weird because most times where you're getting a digital code, you're getting it from someone else and you're actually purchasing it on a third party site, right? Most gaming digital codes come from like promotional codes that are in excess that they're putting. Someone got that code for free and they're giving it to the digital site to put it out there. That's how they get that. And so, if anything, I would say that Sony's just being protective of they're actually keeping the value for their consumers. And I can almost guarantee you Windows and Nintendo, if they could do the same, they would lock it down as well. And that's where I think like there's multiple avenues of defense for Sony in this regard. I just don't see how that plays out in the long run. Like, yeah, the CMA said you could let it go forward, but I don't. Again, they're gonna need to say something very. I didn't see anything in their case that was like a stinger. Like I said, I would if it was another business attacking Sony, then I think there would be some like let's say if it was Ubisoft or someone, then I would be like, oh, okay, there may be some merit to it. But anti-consumer no. No. What's going Hey, Cowboy, what's going on? Yeah, Lo-Fi, y'all, if you did not know, since he's here, Lo-Fi Monk is doing a charity stream tomorrow um, for St. Jude. So definitely, if you want to do charity, I will not be on stream, but I will be in chat tomorrow in Lo-Fi's. Purple, Europe is known for cooking up baseless lawsuits or laws to get money out of people and companies. They are, but it's the CMA from what I understand. The EU is actually no longer the EU is actually really weird. They're ran by probably I do not trust the EU anymore in anti-consumer. Like if you actually know the people, a lot of them are coming from the private sector. And I always kind of frown on that. Like I think it's cool if you were in the private sector and you want to do some good in the public sector, but um yeah, I kinda, like, raise an eyebrow when I see enforcers who are now enforcing the companies that they used to be a part of, or companies hiring former enforcers. Both of those I really, really throw, I kinda give a side glance to it. Game keys from download all my game keys from the internet. You have game keys, Lo-Fi? This is the beginning of Purple Does Finances show. Is it? I don't know. I only use Napster. Don't use that. You'll get viruses. Cowboy, have you went to see Aquaman 2? There's Aquaman 2. I paid like 15 or Express I3 and all the extensions. Yeah, roster that. I mean, I think I got CD keys too. But I don't believe uh Robot Entertainment gave me those like right. Um, no doubt, Roswell. I need to catch up. I'm so sorry, y'all. No, the free Windows search code, you get the logo on the screen. Oh, well, there you go. I use mostly Chrome. I use a Chromebook. I get Limp Bizkit's album for free from Napster. I put it on cassette. How do you still have? Where do you get cassettes from, simpleton? Man, that's one I don't see. Purple, also, we live in a degenerate society. Degenerate, man, that's a big that's a I I don't even think I know the official definition of that. Today, where consumers think these companies owe them something. If you can't afford something, then maybe it's for your it's it's not. I totally get you, Jenna. I totally get you. Like, no, I think that's always been the case, right? I think there's always been a part of society who's always they feel personally insulted if there's a price that's something priced out of their range, right? But then you make a great point. But again, I don't know if there's like this giant class action lawsuit from Sony. That's the other thing that a lot of regulatory bodies will look at is like, what is the public? That's actually something the CMA has. Like, what is the public good in this? And again, I don't think that passes this test right now. In Google Epic, again, this is not a consumer case with Google Epic. The Sony one is. So if it's a consumer case, you have to say what is oh my gosh, Google's talking. You have to kind of give this reasoning of what is the public good that's achieved from X, Y, and Z. And I just don't see it's not like it's a I don't like it is not a legal defense, right? Which is probably why I don't want to get into legal stuff and probably political stuff, but I think Colorado uh Supreme Court is about to find this out the same way as there's actually processes and you have to meet certain criteria to 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 get things. Usually. Um unless your skin's not the right color, but I digress. Uh, so I can listen to it on my Walkman holds. Oh my good. Great. Like all corporate people put into government positions overseeing the industries because they work for, produce, or part of. Exactly. Hi, Rouser, you and I. That's why you agree with me. Yeah, I'd rather not cheat, but cheat on what? Cowboy, I saw it this morning. Love to see your thoughts on it. Because cassettes are cooler. Cassettes aren't cool. Where's Remy? He's right here. Or is it's the second one, it's REMI. He's over there, he's sleeping. So, his sister Lola, my mom's dog, who's also here, y'all may have seen Lola. When I did Obi Rose's show, Lola was actually in that show, I think. Um, yeah, Remy's been playing with Lola all morning, so, or all day, and he is knocked out, but he's on the couch, he's right there. If I get up, he'll get up. Companies and rich people definitely use their money to tip things in their favor. So having groups of people fighting for the little guy is very much needed. They can definitely do a lot more. Totally great. I mean, uh, yeah, I think consumer protections are important, but I also think that you have to the consumers have to have uh, the right case, and the law is built a certain way too. Walkman's MP3s are out of the album is out. Digital to cassette must be a pain. Digital to cassette. I don't even know if they have that anymore. Cowboy came here. I watch your wrestling matches. I see what you're doing. Louis, you should go there. That's all they do is talk wrestling. That's all they do. Probably not to be a conspiracy nut, but it seems like there is a East versus West initiative now. The West is being beat by the East. Oh, I thought you were talking about the NBA there for a second, Jenna. Well, let me not joke about that. The West is being beat by the East Asian countries and many industries, including gaming. But that's always been the case. The East has always beaten the West in gaming, like always. Um, but let me dig further because I like I like a good conspiracy theory. Can we talk about how Purple Haze is all business talk today with her Steve Jobs turtleneck? It's not black, it's green. Green. The West wants to be on top. Of course, I mean, yeah. So there's a reason why economics is like a strategic initiative in the West, right? Um, yeah, there's a lot of tools there. I mean, like I don't know how far y'all want to go down this. Like, I don't think that's a conspiracy theory, right? I think there's always national interests involved, and yeah. It has a lot to do with currency. It has a lot to do with jobs. It has a lot to do with your government. What I would say though is that, I had a professor in business school who told me this, and he was an Indian guy, very smart guy, and he just said like, and he was operations. So I'm an operations person. He's an operations person, and his whole thing was that it's inedible that inedible. It's unavoidable. Let me say, I know how to pronounce that word. It's unavoidable that the East will eventually beat the West, as far as operations go. And that's because in the East, to make it, you already have to scale. You have to scale to make it. And in the West, there's been a lot of like isolationism. There's been a lot of like getting better, but you didn't necessarily have to scale. Also, we just look at the population centers in the world. The vast majority of the world is not in the West. It's also not the developed countries. So as this like starts to balance, if you think of like a zero sum game theory, what they call realist international theory, um, eventually this rebalancing, there's going to be losers in the West. I just don't know how fast that's going to happen. And I think it's already happening in some sectors, but I don't think it happens in others. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't say that. I don't know if that's a conspiracy theory. I think what we would hope is that uh, we can all cooperate and do better, but there's always going to be losers. Like, I don't believe in a world that there's always winners. I do believe in a world where there's not winners and therefore there's potentially not losers. But I think anytime you have a situation when there's a winner, there's someone who's taking the cost on that. That's just my theory. Uh Not popular with a lot of people I work with, I'll tell you that much. India and China have huge populations. Huge, huge. A lot of countries have huge populations for sure. Can we talk about how PlayStation has games that are better than Love Thank you, Lova, with the love tuck. Yeah, so I will say this, that there are games, you already know this. I think the best game Xbox has ever done is Ori. Ever published Ori. Louis, fight me. I think that's the best franchise they've ever done. One of my favorite franchises. Um, After that, I would say that there's a lot of games I wanna play on PlayStation. And when I say a lot, there's like 6. But yeah, Wes doesn't know how to manage a budget either. No one knows how to manage a budget. What do you mean managing a budget? That's an interesting thing that you just said there, because I actually have thoughts on that. Like, I don't think governments are like companies. Like, right? Like, I think government's jobs are to ensure that people believe in their currency. And at that point, you can then create credit. And at once you create credit, you can then create more wealth ideally. And that's what they do. Right? I think if you ever got into a situation where where a Western country was spending less than it was taking in, you would have that's just inefficient, actually. Um, Governments aren't designed that way. That's my opinion. Don't beat me up for it. Don't beat me up for it. Should we name this the new first? He said purple bill, y'all. Rouser, that's good. Oh, with the cheeky, I would invest in Cowboys Channel if I had the money. How could you invest in Cowboys Channel? That would probably make you money if you could figure that out. How could you invest in smaller businesses or content creation? How could you invest in that? I'm sure there's a way. I'm sure there's a way. I need to think about it for about 2 days, but that's actually a pretty decent idea. And you just take like 0.1% of the investment or 10%. Well, no, let's go big. Take 20% of the investment. Yeah, that would do huge. Where I'm from, we have small powder, just loads of billy goats, brr, and elves and dwarves and dragons. Orish. Yes, Louis, it's the best. It's my favorite. Uh, the best game. I love it. I am now scratching my head. It's the best one. It's the best one. But Xbox is done. For sure. Investing with Purple Live on Fridays. I even joined in the fun. I could tell, like I said, if y'all ever want that type of information, y'all saw how I went with that comment. Um, but before you invest, there's actually a financial order of operations. Before you invest, what I would tell is make sure you pay down your debt, pay your high interest debt first, then pay off your low interest debt, then set up an emergency fund, and then once you've done all three of those things, then invest. Okay? So do those things. So that's one thing I forgot to say. Make sure you pay off all your debt. And let me actually hold on. If you know how to manage your debt, high interest debt definitely pay off, but low interest debt sometimes is actually pretty advantageous. So as long as you know how to manage your debt, like some people will say pay off all your debt. No, 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 no. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense sometimes. Like sometimes if someone's gonna loan you like $100,000 at 2% interest, take it. Okay? Because what you could do with that $100,000 at 2% interest is you could take that money and invest it in a municipal bond fund that pays you 5% interest. So what you would then get is you would pay off the 2% interest with the 5% interest that you got and take 3% interest for you for doing nothing. So I actually knew people who did this with their student loans, right? Because a lot of times student loans, what happens is they don't actually you don't start paying on the interest until after you graduate. You don't start paying it off. So if you for veterans out there, Jinx, you might find this interesting. You could actually like fund your education with your GI Bill benefits, take out a student loan, put it into a an investment like Apple. After like 4 to 5 years, once you have to pay it off, take your money out from what that you invested in Apple from your student loan, pay off your debt, the student loan debt, and you've now captured the delta between the two. I'm not gonna say I did it, or I'm not gonna say I haven't, but those are like there's ways to do it. So if you can manage your debt, once you've managed your debt, then invest. I heard of someone as long as they pay the minimum, you're good. DM Simpleton, I love it. I heard of someone who bought the rights of one YouTube video, and that video had millions of views afterwards. Well, I heard of someone who bought a video, a YouTube gaming channel that used to be called CGX. And then they're now disappointed because that gaming channel doesn't do as well. Oh, newsflash, you're not that entertaining, Duncan. Okay, that's it. That's it. I have to one Duncan dig a year. Don't scratch your head too much about wondering how to invest in Cowboy Shaz. Look at what's happening to his hairline, thinking this. Oh, Holds going deep on that one. Why does it sound like the game with the cups where you got to pick the one the ball is hiding under? You always go with the middle one. No, I'm joking. It starts in the middle and then goes to the right. Thank goodness I went to college on a full scholarship. Jenna, exactly. That's the best time to do it. Go to school on a school full scholarship and then take out a student loan and then use the money. That it's tricky, but odds are you will make money, especially if you're in school, if it's like a 4 to 6 year type of program. 1 year you may not, but if it's like 4 to 6 and you have a full ride, Just telling you. Can you be a student of life and apply? You might be able to. I am saying this investing with purple. Let's go. I don't know. I'm going to get a third credit card to pay off my second credit card when I used to pay off my that Jeff has the see. I think y'all are simpleton and Jeff went to the same school. Like I said, there's risk tolerance. Figure out what your goal is. Figure out what you're trying to do. If you have a low interest loan, and when I say low interest, I usually mean like 3% or lower. If you can get substantial money for 3% or lower, and you can manage that, there's numerous investment vehicles, municipal bonds, which are government bonds, which means the government has asked for money and you pay bonds, and then they will pay you some type of coupon, which is just essentially a dividend, but we call it a coupon, uh, and so forth. You can buy municipal bond funds for that pay 4 to 5.5% interest. The stock market, on average, just pays 8.8% return on investment, right? Uh, so that's on average. That means that sometimes it goes down 20%, but average over time is 8. Like I said, you can manage. I don't say pay off all your debt. Pay off your high interest debt. Because if you're playing in that 26% interest, you got a new car, 26% interest. Done, done. No, no. Get rid of that. Uh, but yeah. Purple need to take me and Rose up on our offer, 2 dudes and a lawyer. Oh my god, no. Not a lawyer. Jeff gets it. Genius. So no shows at Cowboy. Great. Don't encourage them to break the law, Purple. I'm not forget. It's all about your risk tolerance. That's what I tell people. I wish I had this advice when I was a student. Yeah, they don't tell you that. You can always go back. Like I said, there's risk. That's why like if you tell me your situation, I tell you, I feel like I would give you like there's the advice to get out of debt and get out of trouble. Debt isn't trouble, but it can lead to trouble, and trouble can lead to debt. Um, there's that type of advice. There's the advice that like, hey, I just need to center on what I'm doing. And then there's the advice that like, hey, I need to take it to the next level. So like if somebody says like they want to, I talk about Wit may know this. I talk to Wit about this a lot. Like if you want to become a CEO of a company, fastest way to do it, start your own company. And that's in multiple ways, okay? Because exactly like you will become a CEO, but you're like, well, Purple, I want to become a CEO of a bigger company. Here's a news flash for you as well. When companies choose their CEOs, like established companies, they look for for people who've been a CEO. So by starting your own company, you're gaining experience. And then you now have a chance to start and you'll learn, even if it fails, you'll learn lessons going the second time. Like this is what venture capitalists actually look for. Venture capitalists look for CEOs who've started a company and failed because they're like, okay, you learned all your lessons before. We now want you to come in and do well. Or we want to invest in you because you've learned lessons. Right. And then you do well and then you may get bought out. And sometimes when you get bought out, they want you to be on the exec team. And sometimes when you haven't even been bought out, they're like, hey, we want you because you're doing something really great and we want you to come over here. Fastest way to become a CEO, start your own company. Don't stay at the same company. That's what it is. Fastest way to get a pay raise, go to a new company. Don't stay at your current company. Those are all privilege things, right? Like, again, depends on where you are in life because some advice is not like that, right? If you are just starting off, you need to develop a skill set, develop a reputation for something, then go do it. But if you're already there and you already like, run with it. Purple, how are the government bonds are usually point 7%? I've never seen a government. Let me say that. Depends on the rating of the government bond, but I've never seen a 7% government bond in the US. Maybe some state municipalities may have that. I'm trying to think of a state that may offer 7%. I'm trying to think of the situation that would happen in. Maybe like a Maine, Alaska? Maybe. I don't know. I would have to look. I never looked for that. But usually those are only reserved for those residents as well. That's the other thing. Shouldn't there be a disclaimer on all this advice? Crow, I'm just saying you could do I didn't say do it. I said you could. I said what you could. There's a you could lose a lot of money too. Like I said, I that's why I gave the advice that I gave. That under I in very broad terms. I just said what you could do. I didn't say do any of this. Um, I didn't say you could do any of this. And I'm just giving you examples. I can give you other examples where I lost a lot of money. And I'll give you an example of that. Perfect example about risk reward. So I told you all about SiriusXM. I told you about Wendy's. I told you about Microsoft. I told you about Activision. Let me tell you about Apple. So, this was in what year was this? 20 the fall of 2013. That's when it was. So about 10 years ago. This is when I was like, and this is like when you just you feel like you're good, but you're really not good. You're good to be dangerous. Like you think you know what you're doing, but you just kind of lucked into success. Microsoft lucked into success. SiriusXM lucked into success. Um, Even though, like, let me when I say I lucked into success, what I mean is like, yeah, I like the product, but it just so happened like everything was kind of going up at that time, and I picked the things that went up really well, like a lot. Well, Apple, the fall of 2013, Apple was trading at, oh my gosh, what was it trading at? It was trading at like $420 a share. And this was before the the stock splits and so forth that lowered the share price. And it dropped. And at this point, like if y'all remember like 12 to 13 years ago, anytime Apple released a product, the stock went up. And this just held true time and time again. And so the stock was at 420 and then it dropped to like 390 a share. Something weird. Y'all would it was September of 2013. Pretty sure that and if you go back and look like the reverse stock splits will make it look like it was smaller, but the share was actually trading at that price. And um and I said, "Hey, if the stock drops to like 385, I want to buy it because I know it's going to go back up to like 420." Well, that's what I thought. And so I set my trade and I was leveraging a lot of money. And so I set my trade to do exactly that. I did some, I went for the day. Nothing happened. I didn't even pay attention to it because I was like, okay, it's Apple. It's a solid investment. I know it's already went down from 420. It's gonna go up. We're good. Um, the next morning, the next morning on my way to work, like it's early. Like, right. So I was doing PT, so I was in the army and I had to get to work from exercising. I get a call and it's TD Ameritrade, like my trading the account I was using at that time. And they go, and I was like a captain at the major or captain at the time, and they said, "Hey, is this Captain?" We'll say Captain Purple, and I said, "Yeah," and they're like, "Hey, this is TD Ameritrade. We just wanted you to know that you need to put in uh some insane amount of money into my account." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Well, because your margin account has went below the level." I said, "What do you mean?" So Apple hit 385, right? What I didn't anticipate was Apple not only hit 385, it hit 380, 375, 370, 365, all the way down to 340. Okay. So I bought it at 385 and I was playing on margin and that thing dropped. It dropped so much that my account was negative who knows how many because when you buy on margin you're borrowing money to invest essentially. And so I lost a ton of money. I'm talking a lot. Like more than that I made in the Sirius XM buy, more than I made in the Microsoft buy. I lost a lot, right? And that's because I was speculating. So I learned that lesson. Investing, I do not invest to speculate. So there are tough lessons to learn. You can lose a lot. So always that's why I did not mention that as part of my strategy is speculating. Because it does that was a lesson learned. That was a hard lesson learned that time. It was like my entire deployment money gone. We need a when to quit your job segment. Good ways to start is to actually have a job. Purpose what is James Bond joke? I know it was Holt. I know. I saw the 007 Crow. Okay, Holt, I just bought my tickets for tomorrow. And hey, Rudix, what's going on? Check out your review when it's up. New York State is suing Sirius XM. Are they? Are they? I like Sirius XM. Purple Jobs talking about Apple. Very meta. Oh man, that was the last time I did that. iPhone changed everything. We weren't ready for it. I just downloaded Aquaman. We'll watch after this. I need to watch Aquaman. If you're new here, hit that. Hey, thank you, Louie. Thank you for that. If you are here, hit the subscribe. Um, Gosh, it's already 9:30. Wow, I talk about money. Time flies. Thank you for your service, bro. No, thank you, Jenna, for coming by. Hey, Reaver, how's it going? Just talking money. You know what, y'all? I only have 30 minutes left. I meant to make this a stream. So I think I talked about the lawsuit. I think I talked about layoffs. And what was the other L I was talking about? Lawsuit, layoffs, and something else. I put it in the title. What is it? Lawsuit leaks. I talked to you all about that. And I talked to you about is there a way I can make a financial with an L? Financial literacy. Literacy de financial. I don't know how to say that, but I'm pretty sure that's how I would say it in uh Spanish. Uh but yeah. All right, let me post this. Let me post this link. Let me go talk to y'all. Anybody who wants to come, obviously I'm more than willing to keep talking, but let me post this. Um and copy. Oh my goodness. Let me post this. Let me post this. Let me post. Where are we? Where are we? What are we doing? What are we doing? Also, happy holidays, everybody. If I have not said that to everybody. Oh, oh. Let me um let me put this in there. Paste, there we go. There we go. And then you know what I don't like? I don't like this little emoji thing because I can't post it till it gets over the heart. But but if y'all want to hop on, let me know. And we definitely can talk a little this, little that. And my headphones are telling me that my battery is low. Joke's on it because I have another set of headphones. Um, which watch doesn't have a good battery? I bet that would suck. Let me see if this works. Actually, let me see if this works. Let me see if this works. Let me know. Can y'all still hear me? I can't hear me. Oh well. I don't even know why I have headphones on. I don't have music. Y'all are talking. I just keeping my ears warm. That was a bit wide. Here we go. Let me post it. If y'all want to come on, let me know. But I'll stay here for like another. What do we want to call it? Another um another 30 minutes, 27 minutes. It's holidays. I know everybody has family to get to. Audio visual is fine. Oh, thank you, Rouster. I think I can't hear it. Like sometimes on this one I could still hear things. Um, so let me see if there we go. Let me let those charge up for now. Let me let those charge up. Also, I've been drinking my gallon of water. So you always ask me about my skin. I actually drink a gallon of water every day, at least. Um, and now you see it. My headphones look like ear warmers, do they? My headphones feel like ear warmers. That's why I like it. Um, but yeah. So it's yeah, did we but let me tell y'all about my gaming. I know Holtz did this in his show last time. Just for me, 2023 gaming wise was a heck of a year. I think I told you all that already. Uh I am looking forward to another one of my as long as I get one of my favorite franchises each year, I'm happy. This year I got 3: Remnant, Tears of the Kingdom, and Pikmin. Next year, I'm getting Little Nightmares, so I'm really excited about that. Obviously, I'm getting a Dark Pictures anthology. I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to Black Myth Wukong. Some people have said I may be getting a PlayStation. If I do, I'll play Ghost of Tsushima and the other game. Oh, we have a guest. Hold on. Hello.
Hello?
Oh, see, I can't hear y'all. I can't hear lo-fi.
You can't hear me?
Hold on. Can y'all hear lo-fi? If y'all can hear lo-fi, let clap your hands.
Can you hear lo-fi?
Hear lo-fi. Um, if you can, I can't. I can't hear them.
I can hear myself on the video.
I can hear you. I can see you're talking lo-fi. Can y'all hear them? Let me see this.
What have you done?
Let me
What's
see.
up, everybody? Perp can't hear me. What up, cowboy? What up, Jenna?
Oh, there you go. I can hear you now, lo-fi. That's
Hey,
my
what's up?
headphone. It, it,
I was
it
just
didn't want to
talking to
work.
chat.
Hey,
I heard you talking about Ghost of Shasha.
gosh, it's like spelled like sushi. It is spelled like what is my ethnic background? What do you think? What do you think? Do we get a house tour eventually? Do y'all want a house tour? I can do that one. Not today. Not today, but maybe. So Lo-Fi, what's going on? You're streaming tomorrow. You're doing charity streaming.
Yeah, I'm doing a charity stream. N7 is the host of the charity, and there's quite a few. It's gonna be like a 2-day event.
So I will be there. I
Okay.
will be doing some stuff. And is it for St. Jude or are you doing another charity?
No, it's for St. Jude, and I'm pretty sure everybody's giving away a couple game codes for every stream. So
Game codes, y'all. Game codes.
yeah,
Doing amazing stuff. Game codes over the holidays. Play some games. Play God of War Purple would be nice to see your reaction. I don't know if I would like that story. Senjus, would you think I would like it? You've seen me play enough.
you don't think you would like the God of War story, the story of Kratos?
Hmm.
I think you would.
You think I would? Have you played it?
No, well, I mean, I played it on PlayStation back in the day, like PlayStation 2, but I mean, the story's awesome.
I don't know. Well, I want to play Ghost of
Yeah,
Tsushima.
yeah,
I
yeah.
do
That
want to
sounds
play
like a
that.
great game.
That one looks kind of like up my alley. I think what was the other games that I like? Until Dawn.
You're thinking
Um,
from like Game Awards.
no, Ratchet and Clank. No, no. There's like certain PlayStation games that I think I would like. And
Yep,
God
yep.
of War. I don't know. The snow makes me feel cold. I need an excuse. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it. I don't know. Game codes from CD keys. Latina or Native Indian. Like From India? Like native Indian? India is a big country. Well, a lot of people, besides Texas. Kind of looks like Texas.
Hey, it kind of does.
Right? God of War is my second favorite gaming series next to Resident Evil. I could see that. I could see. I don't know if I would like it. I'm finishing up Metroid Dread, Final Fantasy. So Holtz is telling me I need to play Final Fantasy 16. He came on here last time and said Final Fantasy 16. So maybe
Fantasy.
it just seems so long.
Ooh, Sanchez, Days Gone. That's a good game. I just finished that up.
That's the one you played, Lo-Fi.
Yeah. And it is a good game.
Rise of Ronin. I think I would like Rise of Ronin. I saw that during
It almost sounds like you're saying Rice-A-Roni, though. You know?
which who doesn't like Rice Ronin?
Yeah, it is the San Francisco treat.
Native American. Oh, like indigenous. Potentially. Potentially. I might be that. I might know a few indigenous peoples of the Americas. Rise of Roman did look. Yeah, it did. Ratchet and Clank looked cool. It looked like a game I would like. I don't know. If I may. Or I may not.
Dabble in the arts of PlayStation.
I don't know. If I did, I would wanna I would want to troll Dark 1985 if I did.
Yeah, this almost feels like a going over to the dark side situation.
I feel like Xbox was going to the dark side.
Maybe
from coming from like Stadia. I felt like
yeah, didn't it feel like dirty? Like like am I doing something wrong? Like ugh.
Yeah, and then it didn't run as well.
No, now you're in a queue.
No, it didn't. I said I've had more on-stream issues. Not that I have them every stream. I'm not gonna act like this is like a frequent event, but I've had more on-stream issues with a physical Xbox than I did with Stadia.
Really?
Yeah. Like there was one time where I had to update my controller.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I had to update the controller. And everybody's like, "Oh, you didn't update the controller." I'm like, "Why do I need to update
Is it better or something?"
I don't know why I had to update the controller. Oh my gosh, it was the weirdest thing.
Did it grow a new button?
I don't know. They're like, "You gotta update the controller." I'm like, "Why would I?" Oh, it does that if you don't update the controller. There was another time where it just stopped. Like quick start. I went into the game. It didn't work right.
I recently had some trouble with just Windows gaming in general, where like I couldn't use Xbox at all, and then there was like a Windows update. I could finally play.
No, I don't know. But it does. I'm not gonna act like it doesn't work. It works fine. I'm just saying I have more issues with Stadia. Like just even do Fall Guys. I had to go find out how to do like a multiplayer like Fall Guys. Like I had to go find stuff. Like with Stadia, I just bring you in. Like join game.
It was beautiful.
Boom, boom, boom. Done.
Yep.
Did
you see Bryant's report on what is the new YouTube game thing?
Playables.
It's so hard to differentiate because they all got and then it was like Google Play. There's I don't know, but yeah, Playables. He went down memory lane of Stadia a little bit on that episode. It was pretty good.
Playables. We'll see. Like I said, if they can ever bring, if they could ever bring something back like Stadia, I said I would go into it. Crow won't. Crow Resin won't. But he won't do it. Don't fool him twice. But for me,
it'll be Boogle Stadia.
Purple. Do you think you will get out of the console business? No, Jenna. I don't. I think, but I do think. What do I think? I do think if they ever lose Phil Spencer, Xbox would probably be very different. I'll say it like that.
Oh, I don't. I don't know. I've thought about this too, and as much as I like to be like Bucket Bill Spencer, but it.
No, I'm just saying if he ever were to retire, if he ever,
I don't think it would be a good thing.
Yeah, no, I don't think it would. I doubt for
No.
I don't think that's why I said if they ever were to lose him, I don't think I don't think I think that would be indicative of something.
I don't know why Cowboy hadn't jumped in here. It's like sadness.
What?
I know there's a link. He can jump in. We're in here. He has nothing.
No, he's busy. A lot of times Thursday he does movie night with his wife.
Are you doing movie night, Cowboy?
XR Regards controller. Yeah.
If you're doing movie night, what movie are you watching? Prove it.
Windows is still worse with its install. Windows is still worse with its installing. That's why I do Chrome, but Chrome's not always the best. However, Chrome, what do they call this? Incognito mode is.
How do you feel about the what? Don't they have like a Steam thing, or not? Is it what is
Epic?
It? Oh, Epic has a thing. No, I'm talking about how you can play like Steam games from Chrome.
Oh yeah, I did on GeForce Now. I mean, that was cool.
No, I thought they had like an app now where you can play Steam.
Well, if you know that's too technical for me.
I don't know.
That's too technical for me.
Yeah,
that's why I like consoles. They're easy. Sony used to require controller updates on it for release PS1. Really, Stadia just worked. There's no updates. There's no downloads. It just worked, and no smooth as butter. It was amazing. You didn't get to enjoy it,
and they ripped it away from us at Christmas.
Well, the fall, but yeah. Oh, it was at January 18th. It was Jeff's birthday. Jeff's birthday.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was the end of the year. I remember my
Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
10 games from Microsoft Store, not uninstalling. No way to pay. And such a mess. Yeah, I remember Trapper Keepers. I thought, but aren't Trapper Keepers binders? What's the difference between a Trapper Keeper and a binder? Or is a Trapper Keeper the one that has Velcro that you can shut?
Velcro, and it's a trifold, okay? And it usually covered with only the best artwork.
What was that artwork?
Known to man.
Like the 80s artwork, 90s artwork, and it was like ponies. It was like really vibrant colors.
Are you talking about Lisa Frank?
Yeah. You knew that right off the bat. Like Lisa Frank.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was the 80s. It was like, what did they call it? The big art style.
It was like super
Memphis
vibrant.
style.
It was like super vibrant.
It was called Memphis style. It was like Saved by the Bell type, like graphics and stuff. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I remember going to Eckerd's. Do you remember Eckerd's?
Oh, Eckerd's. Yeah, they had candy in there.
Right?
That's I remember being little. Like,
Eckerd's. Like that's
grandma had to pick up a prescription. I'm getting
Eckerd's, man.
I'm getting some candy. Yeah.
Nobody knows about Eckerd's. So many people don't know about Eckerd's.
What you know about Eckerd's?
We should, Lo-fi. Okay, well, we got someone coming on Lo-fi. You can stay in the background, but I'm going to bring them on, all right?
Sure.
It is. What's up, Cowboy?
Oh, what's up, Purple? You know it's Purple. You know it's crazy. I said to my wife, I was like, I'm lazy, but I'm about to get up and jump on the show. And as I was walking into the Cowboy Epic Entertainment studio, I heard Lo-Fi say, "Where's Cowboy at?" And I'm like, that's hilarious because I'm literally walking in, setting up. But come on, Purple, now you know I had to show up. What's funny though, I do sometimes get busy on Thursdays, and Obi texted me and was like, "Yo, you gonna be on Purple Show?" I was like, "Oh." So when I came to your show, I was like, I rewind, I scrolled, I was like, "Oh, I don't think she's having people on." And so as I'm sitting there, I got it just playing while my wife's playing with the guinea pig. And then all of a sudden I see Lo-Fi jump on. I was like, oh no, Lo-Fi is on there. Then you know, Cowboy got to get on there. But Purple, here's what's cool. You ready?
Yeah.
Went to the gym yesterday. The arm is, listen, let me tell you something. Purple, I'm making a comeback. All right, stop. Look, you see the scars? You see the scars?
See the scars.
Let's go. Got my little, guys. I was thinking about doing a Thursday stream where I show this off and sell them, but I don't want to buy a whole bunch of them and have them in my house. But this is the ripstick. Anyway, Purple, what's up? Talk to me. What's going on? Let's go.
No, just this is my last stream of the year for this.
Yes.
This
Okay.
Shades of Purple.
But
Actually, I might do one next week.
I
I
feel
might
like
do
you
one
probably
next week.
tricked me because didn't you say this last week?
That was my last stream in the apartment.
Okay.
So that was my last stream in the apartment. But this one may be my last stream before the Christmas holiday. Maybe.
But so you know why I don't do these last streams? Because you're gonna just stream like the next week. Like
yeah, no, I was just some people told me because they were like, "Oh, you need to do something because it's your last one in the apartment." So I looked at people who said they were leaving YouTube to prepare for that stream to kind of build up to it.
Okay.
But I wasn't leaving. I just was.
Yeah, you just felt like tricking people, lying to people. I jumped up so fast. Oh, it was like, "Yo, Purple, stop streaming." I was like, "Hold on." And only to come and see you laugh and say, "Suckers, suckers, you got finessed, suckers."
I had to. I was taking a page out of Crazy Louie, Cowboy, Doc Dark, Jeff Janak, all these entertainers that came before me.
Yeah. So are you gonna pull the trigger on that PlayStation or what?
Y'all will know I got a PlayStation because I will stream until dawn. I'll stream until dawn if you will know I got a PlayStation when I stream until dawn.
That will be perfect for you. Yeah.
They say that's the best one. So, but I don't know, Cowboy. You know, I don't know. I have an Xbox and it does I have a Nintendo. It does my needs. I have remotes. Thank you to Republica.
If you just go where the games are, you'll be good. So right now, it's all about your gaming interests. Currently, you don't have any high interest on anything that's over there, so you don't need it yet. But just wait till they get a game that you're like, I gotta have it. I gotta have it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I don't we'll see. We'll see. I may do a spoof video of me. I don't know. I may do a spoof video. If I ever got it, we would have to see. But I don't know. I don't know.
You give us some dance moves, Purple?
I don't. Oh my goodness. I don't have my camera set up like that. I don't have it set up like that, Cowboy. Cowboy, you see me. You see me in person.
Purple Lil.
Oh my goodness. So what are your holiday plans?
So the new job, I have no days off. So if you work and a holiday fall on your schedule, you work. So the only way you have off is if ahead of time, you like, let's say you say, "Oh, Christmas is on a Monday. I work Monday through Friday." You're working. So you could request off ahead of time, right? Me personally, I was like, I'm working. But the cool thing is, you get double time or time and a half and your pay. So it's like double and a half, I guess. I don't know.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so I'm gonna work. And the cool thing is this is also my office, but I'll be working, and then when I'm done, I get off at 4:30 on Mondays. So when I'm done, I'll just go eat dinner. My mother-in-law will be down for the week. She usually stay with us for about a week. And oh yeah, and then I'm gonna go to my brother's house on Christmas Eve for brunch. So he bought this big, nice, lavish house in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, a couple years ago. So he hosts all the events. Yeah. So like if you see my Thanksgiving video, I was at his house and I was showing off his pond, and he built the gazebo, and he got this axe, his own little axe throwing thing back there. And so yeah, cool stuff. So those are the two things. Christmas, we'll have dinner here. Oh yeah, and then we'll also go on Christmas Eve to my daughter's grandma house. So they do a thing. So, that's really it. Eating,
I hear you. I hear you. I'll be sleeping. I'm so
Sleeping.
tired. I am so tired. Also, I have a better subscription service. I found one of the best subscription services out there.
Okay, hold on. Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
No, you're gonna laugh at it, but I think I may make a purple shade about it. So if y'all are here.
Oh, you're not gonna tell us now?
No, I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
The library. My library had, I'm not kidding you. Every game of the year nominee.
Oh, you're live. Oh, I thought you were talking about movie subscription. Oh, you're talking about video games.
Yes. They had every game.
You know how I feel about those video game subscriptions.
Yeah, but Cowboy, they had every game of the if there was a game that was ever nominated for any of the categories.
Right.
For since the PS3, Xbox One, Nintendo, that era on, they have it.
Yeah,
so right, they had all the and they just had like I was like, where do they all get all these games? Like, who does your selection? And they were like, oh, we don't really know, so we just look at who are the nominees, and that's the games we get for the year. And I was like, what? And so I was like, that's crazy. So like, yeah, I think that's a better subscription model than. And then I was like, so like, when do you have to return it? And they're like, well, if you have it, you can just like renew it online. And just like, so I was like, what?
Like, so I had this conversation earlier with your friend, Q Beanie. And I said, he was talking about Game Pass. I said, dude, Game Pass is dope. It's really cool if you like random games. And he got really upset by that. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, how is it random games? I was like, because you don't know what's going to be on there. But sometimes they update you months ahead. I said, but still, it's a service that's going to give you random games. But I know I got the first party. That's true. But let's just say you wanted to get Armored Core 6. He was like, huh? I was like, that's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying is it's a service for random games because you really don't know what all is going to be on there until it's on there. So like something like this, they just try to get anything that's on disc, right? And it sounds like your library just try to get what's supposed to be the game, right? So when I think of services, and I don't have a problem with it, right? Like that's pretty much what Netflix and everything is, right? You don't really know what's going to be on there until it's on there or until they make some announcement, right? You can't just say, oh, this movie is coming out, and so 3 months later it's going to be on Netflix. You don't know that because Netflix actually don't get every movie. Same thing with HBO, whatever. They got to have a deal. So yeah, it sounds like your library though is kind of doing good as far as the
I was like, because here's the thing, I had just bought Hades because it's 50% on Xbox, or it's probably 50% everywhere. So I just bought it, and then I had never checked out the library because it's a new town and never been here. So I was like, yo, let me go because I don't like having printers in my home. So I always like go into the library to print stuff just because I don't like printers. And so I went there, and then they had this section and it said video games. So I was like, okay, let me go check out the video.
Yeah, because you're like, it's the library. Like, what are they gonna have?
I love the library. Exactly. And then there goes Hades. And I was like, and then I was like, wait a second. Then Armored Core. And I was like, Armored Core? And then they had in both Xbox and what's it called? They had Cyberpunk. And then I started going through the list, and I was like solid games. And so then that's when I turned to the library, and I was like, who does this? And she's like, we don't know, because we're a library, we're able to get it at a certain pricing and blah, blah, blah. And because we don't know which ones to get, we just get the ones that are nominated during the Game Awards. And I was just like, yo, that's crazy.
Because I think a lot of times people feel that some of the services, like look at PlayStation Plus, look at Game Pass, like they try to do a good job with their own stuff and they get little deals to get other things. But sometimes these a lot of times subscription services are missing. They got holes in them. And the only thing I know That's really you know what I mean?
Yeah, Gamefly is good. Like, yeah, so Gamefly was cool, and so the other one that I think they had right. So then I look for Remnant, and she obviously the chick. I say chick. The woman was like she was a little older than me. She was like, "Oh, if it was on the Game Awards, we get it." But then you have games that are only digital.
Yeah, like Alan Wake 2. I can't get it on Gamefly.
Yeah, so that was her and so she's like, "Yeah, sometimes we can't get that game." And then but she's just like, "But we generally have like if it's a game, we can get it." So I thought that was like a really interesting because you know who's always talking about physical games, TK9. And so I thought that was a really interesting thing that the library, which I think is just a brilliant plan to get people into the library.
Yeah.
They that's how they do it is through physical games. But I was just amazed. I was like, "That's crazy."
So let me ask you this. When you went to the library, were you going there just because you're new in the area, you just wanted to check out locations, or did you have a book in mind?
No, so I went there to check out like, "Hey, what does it look like? And can I do printing? Like, what do I need to do? Do I need to send it to myself or do I send it to like just some basic questions?" And into Rouster, you don't rent it or buy it. You just check it out with your library card. So it's free. Like that's it. And as long as you renew it and let them know that you have it, you don't have to pay. Now, if it goes over the 2-week period, you have
like
to.
a book.
Yeah, it's like it's overdue.
The library, you just check them out.
Yeah, and so that's why I was just like this, and they like every Nintendo hit was on there.
That's a dope hit.
Like I was just like, what? Like I should probably take a picture of it, and then that was only like Switch, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, Series S.
Right.
So then she goes, "Yeah, if you go downstairs though, you can actually find our retro." She said retro section.
Oh wow.
And so she had, like I said, it actually started with PlayStation 2, Xbox. She had all of those in the Nintendo equivalent. And it's like just rows and rows of these like so I was just like, that's really cool.
That's dope.
So like I'm a fan of my library. I'm always a fan of libraries, but I hope other libraries take that up if they don't.
Yeah, that's cool. How are you liking the place?
I like it. You should come up.
Okay.
You should come up.
Listen, you don't gotta tell me. I'm the guy that shows up. You tell a cowboy, you be like, "Hey, what you doing here? You said come up."
You should come up.
You know who popped on the show Monday, but he had to go real quick. He said, "Dude, I've been meaning to tell you. I watched the video where you meet Holtz and Purple, and that was so cool."
Really?
You were talking about him earlier.
TK9?
Nope.
Doc?
Nope. You were talking about someone had a channel and then sold it.
Oh, Ace?
Yeah, Ace. Yeah, just randomly I looked like, what is this? So I let him in. He's like, "What's up, man?" He was like, "Yo, how you been?" He's like, "What you doing with the channel?" I was like, "Bro, I'm just enjoying it, having fun." And he was like, "Yo, I meant to tell you, I seen that video and it was cool." I was like,
that was fun time.
And then he had to go. Yeah.
Fun time. We're gonna do it next time with Rouster and Cammy and so forth. If we do it again.
Because Rouster's in New Jersey, right?
Rouster's in Jersey. Cammy is in New York, right? Cammy's in Brooklyn. Yeah. Cherryman, obviously not Brooklyn. Sorry, Cammy, Bronx.
The Bronx.
Bronx, yeah. So we may do it again. I don't know, but yeah, if you says you have a car, I have to drive through New Jersey to get to work. So
do you?
Yeah.
I'm
sometimes it depends. It depends.
I'm a people's person. Like my job is 100% remote, but I drove an hour to their Jersey headquarters last Sunday just to do their Christmas breakfast thing. I just wanted to like meet people in person and just like mingle and see like who's who. So like down the road, because in 6 months you could like request to be like a little upper, like a team lead or some other stuff. So for me, networking is big. So just yesterday, one of these days, I was talking to one girl who's a lead, and she was like, "We were talking about you." I was like, "Really?" She was like, "Yeah, that was cool that you came. I stayed later and helped them clean up and all that." And it was like, "Yeah, we think you're really good for this, and we see you doing a lot of stuff." I was like, "Man, I'm no dummy. You're supposed to network and go show, you know." But yeah, I mean, so yeah, I would be definitely up for coming to check out the. Now you gotta have a cool name, Purple. You gotta like call your thing the. I mean, what is it called? Is it just the Purple Shade Room? Is it like whips and chains? Like, because if you say shade, we gonna be thinking 50 Shades of Gray. So is it 50
I
Shades
don't
of
know.
Purple?
It's not fully set up. Y'all know, like,
Okay.
I thought I'd start, but I may change it up a little bit. This room is just like my game room.
Okay. So will
But
you
no.
only stream in this room?
And play games.
Okay, so what I'm saying, it's like your gaming / streaming room. Like you wouldn't be in your room streaming. Like you're only gonna come here to stream.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So
I mean, in my room,
okay.
because I have a primary suite.
Mhm.
In my room, I have an area where, like, if I do like official interviews, like with
Oh, okay.
like I do have that set up where
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Um, I have like a section in my actual room for that, but this room is just for that.
That's cool.
Eh, Uh,
So or is we naming this thing or what?
I don't know. Maybe I gotta think. I gotta get creative. I need some wits creative. I need people who are creative. Like Cammy's creative. I'm not creative.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I don't know. The purple station, maybe.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see. I don't know. It's pretty. There's deer. There's deer
Okay.
around.
I
I'm
think
from
that's cool.
I'm from like that. So we saw
Yeah,
that.
I mean, because coming from New York. Well, what part of New York did you live in anyway? Were you in the city?
Manhattan. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so they don't know what deers are.
No, I mean I'm from Texas, but it was just odd to see that like stroll
That's
like
cool.
walking.
I mean, probably the rats in Manhattan was the size of a deer, right?
Kind of.
That's what they say.
Purple Express, Purple State. We'll have to do a naming.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta get it cute. I need like some
Yeah.
of those gamer girls on Twitch. They have like really cute setups.
Yeah.
So, and I'm not like y'all can't tell. Like I'm into sports. I'm into business.
Right.
Like I'm a different type of chick.
You got like baseball and football.
Basketball. I like
Uh,
baseball.
okay.
But yeah, like I'm just different. Like I grew up. I had a brother.
I feel like I could get you on the court. I feel like, I mean, you might got a little bit of height on me, just a little bit. I feel like you don't remember Spud Webb? Stop playing. There's some short people that could ball. All right.
If I was still in my 30s, maybe, but now in my 50s, I'm not too sure.
Hey, could you stop playing, please?
I'm
I
not.
told you. You don't look a day over 31.
I'm not. I'm not. I mean, I'm old. Like I told you, y'all see.
I need you to do.
This is my second one. This is my second one.
Do me a favor. Your next live stream, I need you to start the stream off from the beginning and do a poll. And I need you to put the poll do like by tens. Do you guys think I'm in my
20s, 30s, 40s, or 50s?
Yeah. Like I would love to see what that poll is gonna say.
People know me who come and stream. They'll tell you. Like I'm older. I just have like I think it's just I don't know. Like I said, it's water. It's water. It's water.
I just feel like I can keep moving. As long as you keep moving.
That's it. As long as you keep moving, as long as you're still trying to learn. You're not in your 50s. You look like you're in your 30s. Thanks.
I met her in person. She isn't a day over 30, maybe 36. Maybe 36. Maybe 36. All right?
I don't know. No.
Maybe you're about to turn 37.
That's close. So we'll see. I mean, it's closer than some.
I'm gonna have to talk to mom. So if I come to the house, I'm gonna meet Mama Hayes.
Yeah, if she's around, she may be around. We'll see.
Uh-huh.
You'll meet Remy. Remy's always by me. He's down here right now.
What? So is your brother there now? Like, did he? So all three of
Not
you are living.
yet. Not yet.
Okay.
My move was this week.
Okay.
Mom's move was the last 2 weeks. My move was really last week and this week.
Okay.
His move is not for. I, I would have to ask him because he has an album. My brother's a professional musician.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a jazz musician, and he's been really focused on releasing his album.
Okay.
So I think I think January.
What does he play? Is he like Kenny G?
He's a saxophone player, but he's a tenor sax, not soprano.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying. Okay.
Yeah.
That's dope.
But no, we're all here. I'll take you on a tour of the
Yeah.
home, and the town's a cute town, and but yeah, I don't know. I sold my other place, so
Okay.
um
How long? Because my whole move is next year, but I feel like what I'm dreading the most is selling. I don't know why I feel like watch selling somehow I'm gonna get some type of like headache. Like, all right, I will say this. So when me and my ex-wife bought this house in 2009, right when we got married, and she didn't like the tub. So I was like, oh, you don't like the tub? So we got rid of the tub, and I went to Lowe's and found the biggest indoor jacuzzi tub I could get. So we could have a hot tub as our regular tub. Now, when the guy installed it, they had to rip out the wall, push it a little further back. He said, listen, this is going to break code because you can't have, one of the codes that you guys don't know, you can't have your tub too close to the toilet. It needs to be a certain distance. So I was like, it's my house. I'm buying it. I'm married. I'm thinking I'm be here forever. I don't care. So he's like, well, you might have some problems when you go to sell this thing. I was like, throw it in there. So now it's how many years later? 15 or whatever, since 2009. And I'm like,
yeah, you think about that. No, you think about
right?
No,
Yeah.
like I had some marks on the floor, and so I had to go I had wooden floor, and so I was like, and they were there before, and
Right.
I was like, man, I gotta go replace this floor. I didn't like fully. It was just some planks, fortunately, but you think
Yeah,
about that.
honestly, I didn't. So we about 4 years ago. I mean, the roof is fresh. So we got the new roof like maybe 4 years ago.
They're
We
solid.
remodeled the kids' bathroom like maybe 2 years ago. So that's cool. And we gutted that. So I mean, floor, everything, right? But I mean, honestly, I didn't really do much else. Like I wanted to redo the deck because I feel like you come to buy a house and have a nice deck. Like our deck is a good size. Our backyard is pretty big. But I'm like, a lot of people are like, dude, wood went up. You're not gonna like the money you'll put into doing it. And then my thing is, I had my house for a good amount of time where I got a lot of equity. So I'm like, I could just be like, look, I would have dropped like something, So we'll see.
No, I mean, it's for us, like for buying. I mean, I think they're different headaches. They're
Yeah.
different headaches, right? Because
Well, the cool thing is we just want to rent when we first move. So I'm making it easy. Like we just gonna rent and see.
I would have rented. I would have I don't know if you saw the first hour of this show was like a totally different purple shade.
Right.
Like I was just talking financial business.
Well, yeah, when I came in, they was telling you purple jobs, and I was cracking up when he said he had Steve Jobs sweater on. But
yeah, no, that's all. No, but like for me, like
right.
It's not usually my investment style, and I still don't really consider it an investment. I think I'm doing this more or less for my family.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm starting to get like I'm starting to show my age in other ways, and I kind of need some support around me.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I've had a lot of talks about purchasing a house, and I feel like there's only 3 reasons. Knowing what I know, right? I think I remember my friend, he was really young. He was like 24 and back in Trenton. So he bought a house for cheap, kept it for like 4 years and sold it and made money. So if you're looking like, oh yeah, this could make me money, right? If it can make you money, because you never know. Number two, I feel like if you're like, I'm gonna have this, but I'm leaving this to my kids. And but the problem is your kids might be like, we don't want it, right? And then number three is if it's gonna be your forever home. If you're like, you know what, this is it, you're a little bit older. But other than those, I just feel like I personally wouldn't recommend buying a home. I feel like unless you fall into those three things, like what, because some people buy homes because you were told that's what you do, right? That's a check off. Like, oh, did you go to college? Did you buy a home? Did you? And people would meet parents who'd be like, how's your kid doing? And they'd be like, oh, they bought a house. And be like, yeah. And I feel like you have to buy it for me personally, one of those reasons, if not, you're buying it to say I'm doing what the industry said I should do.
No, I mean, like I said, we talked all about investing earlier, and I think if that's what I think if you really know, there's one type of person who I really think should buy houses. And that's the type of person, if you're a handy person and you can fix your house,
yes,
you buy, because you will save money. Like there's so much stuff, because houses you're constantly spending. And so if you know you could flip it. Like that type of person knows houses.
Or even if you don't want to flip it, but you're gonna say, like, for instance, I guess like sometimes I'm like maybe a month ago, not even less than a month ago, our igniter went on the furnace, right? And I'm like, here we go. But I totally forgot that 3 years ago when it went, I ended up doing the service plan. So when the guy came over, he was like, oh, it's covered. I was like, oh. And I didn't even remember I was doing it. So who knows how much I'm paying every month for this thing, but whatever, right? But yeah, things happen, things go. So at the end of the day, a lot of people just look at a house as like, oh, it's a status. You put a badge on, but it's a good and bad. So houses can come with issues, and so
they come with a ton of issues. And what essentially I see there, why for 15 years ago. For business advice. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, so like I said, I'm doing this for the family. It is actually it's quiet here, so it actually has helped my sleep. And I get to see my mom, and it's probably better for the dogs. And so like I'm not like, I would not say this is an investment. Let me change that. That's also the thing. I would not say this is an investment. But we're just trying to do the family.
Are there any good restaurants in the area you found, like a mom and pop shop, like a place that you can't find anywhere else?
There's a couple of places. So surprisingly, there's a lot of pizza places. I wasn't expecting that. A lot of pizza places. So I've tried like 6 of them. I mean, it's kind of hard when you're coming from a city to say there's a place that's not like any other. What I would say is that it's like anything. It's hard for me to compare. Like New York, you have like everything, it's New York for a reason. Mm-hmm. What I would say is that I've been surprised though at what they have here.
Okay, that's cool.
I think that's the thing. And then they have a mall here. And in like a mall, like you go in type of, everywhere I've been, malls have been dying.
Right.
This mall is like packed.
Nice.
Like I'm like, maybe it's just the holidays, maybe it's something else.
Well,
But I went on like a Tuesday night.
Okay.
And it was like packed. And like, I think what's interesting with malls is they're changing. Like the anchor stores used to be like JCPenney's and Foley's and like some Dillard's, if you had that. Now the anchor stores are like Target and Home Depot and Best Buy. It's like weird. It's like different. And
what's funny is you mentioned going to the library. You were in the area. So what I was going to actually say to you is whenever I go into a city I've never been to, I always want to go to a mall. I used to be a mall rat. So me and my friends, we would just go to different places to see what their mall was like. I used to love walking around the mall, seeing what stores they have. I always judge a mall by if they got an Apple store or not. If you got an Apple store, you kind of bougie. You don't got an Apple store, So I remember my home mall, got an Apple store like a couple years ago. I don't live in that area no more, but I went back. I'm like, yo, they got an Apple store. So it's like, okay, they catering to Princeton because it was always like Trenton, and then you go up and they were in the middle in Princeton. But I'm like, oh, they finally catering to the Princeton crowd. So but yeah, I love malls just to walk around. Unfortunately, I don't walk in GameStop anymore. Like,
oh, we went into a we went to a GameStop, and so we did that, and they had 2 arcades, like a Dave and Buster's and another arcade.
Okay.
And I heard this is how old, like, I hurt myself, like, so, like, I was just in there and I was like, okay, let's, add some time to spare. And like the basketball games.
Yeah.
So like I love basketball, right? So I was like, I hurt my back just shooting the basketball. Like you could
first of all, you're tall enough to just dunk. Like, stop playing.
But I strained my it got tight, and then I was like, oh, that's nothing. Like, let me stretch it out. I just kept shooting and shoot.
Yeah.
No.
How long did it take to go away?
It took like maybe, it wasn't too bad because I think I start to feel like, for me it's like it feels like I'm hunched over.
Okay.
And so it's like maybe like a day, 2 days. So it wasn't too bad, but still I was like, I'm just shooting like this basketball.
Listen, so from when I had my surgery, I couldn't lift anything more than 5 pounds for a while. So my lower back started to hurt because when I was younger, like back in the day, you won't know anything about this. When I was younger, well, actually, you would know a lot about being young. So when I was younger, I used to have bad lower back pains to my left side. And so what the chiropractor told me was my left vertebrae is pulled to the left by a muscle. So I said, well, how come it doesn't hurt when I work out? They said, because you're tightening your muscle. So when you stop working out, you're going to feel it. So this was the least amount I worked out in my life this past year. And so I started to have really bad back pains. But as I started to get a little bit more physical, they start going away. So I have to work out by nature, or I'm gonna be like, oh.
Yeah, I think I couldn't throw a best. I'm gonna like, I don't know, it's so fun. Like I said, I'm enjoying like discovering. As someone who's always like lived in cities, and I guess in the military I didn't, but it's exciting, but it's cool to see my mom and not have to call, or that's it's kind of cool to do that.
Well, Herbert, you didn't tell us, was you making them shots though? Were you making them?
I did. This was a cool one because usually you only do it's like 35 seconds, but this one you shot, and then if you had a certain score after 35 seconds, you went to a next level.
Okay.
And then the basketball went up and down, like the basket. And if you got to a certain score again, it then would go like this and up and down. Okay. And so I kept trying to get to the third level, and it would take your picture if you got a high score.
Oh, that's dope.
So yeah, it was like super cool. So it was like really addicting. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like pretty good. I actually thought I was like, hey, maybe I should buy this to put in my game room. And then I hurt my back. So decided not to buy it.
That's hilarious.
But it was pretty cool. It's pretty cool. So yeah, so I'm just enjoying it and driving again, doing stuff like that.
Are you watching any shows? What?
Lot of holiday shows because that's all my mom wants to watch. But it seems like I need to watch Blue Eyed Samurai because Rouster and who else came in here? Geek the Sneak came in here and talked about it. I think Room Mamba came in here and talked about it. Yeah, some animated on Netflix. No, I've just been working. I've been working. I mean, I'm really excited about Dune next year. Really Dune 2 coming out. Really excited. I'm probably more excited than half the games.
So you know what's crazy? Sandy really liked it. I didn't like it that much. I need to give it. I did doze off, so I need to watch it again. To give it a fair shake, but I wasn't that into it. Again, she never seen the original. I did see the original, so I was like, so.
No, I think in Squids, we haven't seen Squids in forever. Is in chat.
Squids.
Squids. What's going? I need a game with Squids again. And Squids is like my Stadia gaming buddy.
Mhm.
But no, I think I just like it. I think it has an amazing like score, and it
Yeah,
has my little cousin Zendaya in it, so I always have
Mhm.
to like support. I'm joking. I'm not related
I
to
was
Zendaya.
about to ask you. Yeah.
I'm not related to Zendaya. But no, you always gotta support the
Yeah.
women character, and I think it's interesting. Um, and I think that's something really cool that Warner Brothers can do with it. Like they may be, because there's a whole bunch of books. It's not just Dune. There's like other ones after that one.
That's cool. Yeah. I see they're making a new Mad Max. So
They're
yeah.
making a new Mad Max.
Yeah, they do. So remember, not a couple years ago, but some years ago, they redid Mad Max, and then they made that Mad Max video game. So now they're doing like, I guess it's part 2 to that or it's another Mad Max. I don't know.
So you're saying the one that had like the one that had like the models, because like one of the characters they had I forget the model they had in that one.
Right. You
Fury
know,
Road. Fury Road.
yeah, Fury Road. Yeah, and you know what's crazy?
That was actually one of the better remakes of a movie.
You know what's crazy? I never watched it, and I never played the game. And the game was free on PSN years ago. But yeah, I never watched it. So I
That's
never.
the good of Mad Max.
And let me tell you what I never watched. All right, I'm gonna go old back in the day. You was really young, and then they remade it. I never seen the original Judge Dredd, and I never seen the remake of Judge Dredd. I don't know how. And I was always into all them action movies, and I never seen either. So I know some people are like, "What?" Because I know that's like cult classic.
Oh my god, Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. I seen that. Like that's a movie that's always playing on like a bus in Korea. I feel like I was there. There's like movies that I'm like, that's always on a bus somewhere.
Right.
But no, Mad Max Fury Road. So I've seen all the Mad Maxes.
Right.
And obviously, but Fury Road, I thought that has a pretty solid story. So the fact that you said they're making a second,
Yeah,
like,
look it up. There's a trailer.
I thought that I think that's pretty cool. So,
Mhm.
and like I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you can reinvent a franchise and do it well, this is why Rudix and I go back and forth on the video game stuff. But if you can do it well, I know, Cowboy. We're not going there, but and what's up, Sour Blow? I'm gonna catch you tomorrow. No problem, Sour Blow.
So,
So okay, Emperor for Losa. Thank you, Whip, for that. But yeah, I think if you can do it, I'm all for it. I'm all
yeah.
for it.
Me too. I feel like what I rather is that you try, you put something out, and I didn't like it, but at least I got it right. Like I guess like you never know till you get to the world gives you something new, right? If you're gonna like it or not, right? And even if when we don't like something, it's somebody's favorite something. For instance, I was on shout outs to Rue Diggs and Doragon. I was on their special guest yesterday on their last show of the year, real last show of the year. On like some people say it's their last show, and then hey, they're streaming again. Like
Last show of the apartment.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, so some people, some people lie to you, some people don't. So he asked what was your best game of the year? So I said my best game and the game I think was the best game I played, because it's two different things. Like my favorite, and still Forspoken, at all the games I beat this year, and I beat a lot of games this year. For me, I still enjoyed Forspoken the most from beginning to end. I love that character, the New York chick. She cursing every 5 minutes. She was just so raw. It reminded me of one of my favorite movies as a kid, Never Ending Story, where somebody just go into this magical world, they figuring out how to get out of it. The traversal system still is like
Sebastian. That's
like
the character in Never Ending Story. Sebastian.
who?
Sebastian's one of the key.
Sebastian. Yeah, Sebastian. Call my name. You remember that part?
Yeah, I was like, I just joined the army when that came out.
And Atreyo. Yeah, come on, don't take it. Listen, yeah, that was my movie. But long story short, so many people hated on that game And now some stuff coming out like, oh, it had this good and this good. But long story short, I love when they just try something because you never know who will like it. And maybe the majority won't like something new, remade or whatever, but at least you tried something, right?
Yeah.
So,
No, we're good. We're good. Man, I could talk about stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
I got me excited now. Now Wit and I watched almost all the who, just so y'all know, Wit is starting a channel next year. So definitely when she does, we'll bring her on Shades of Purple, tell her gaming story and go support her channel. So that's coming in 2024. But Cowboy, I am running. I went 30 minutes longer than I wanted to.
Listen, thank you for having me on. You let me come on here and act crazy.
No, hurry.
Oh, let's go, baby. This arm coming back. Let's go. I'm like this in the morning and the nighttime. I'm always wired.
Oh, goodness. Well, thank you so much, Cowboy. And Lo-Fi's been in the background, so I'm going to give him the last if he's still on.
Yeah. But he did say, where's Cowboy at? So I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, let me bring him on. He's been in the background the whole time, so I'm going to bring him on.
You guys take care of Purple. As usual, thank you so much for being you. Thank you for doing all you do for the community. And take care.
Yeah, no, and let me know when King Thrash is doing his Game Awards show. I'm trying to.
He hit me up like a month or two ago, and I said, okay, let's do it. And he haven't hit me back. So
it takes a lot to put that on. It takes a lot. So when he needs it, I'll definitely jump through hoops to make it happen. Yeah. All right. Take care, Cowboy. Thank you. Yeah. Lo-Fi, you still there?
Hey.
Sorry about that.
What's up, guys?
You're gonna get to finish it.
Bleep, bleep, bleep. That's all, folks.
All right. Well, Lo-Fi,
that's what I feel like with the little thing going around my head right here.
And what are you playing tomorrow, Lo-Fi?
I'm gonna do a little Minecraft, just because we did that last year. But then I got a 3-hour block where I'm gonna do probably some Lethal Company and maybe some community stuff. I don't know, some games where the audience can join in. But we'll be giving away a couple game codes. I know I have at least 2, probably more. So just hop by.
I saw Simpleton. Let me know if your Venmo wasn't working for me. Let me know if you have Cash App or something else. I'll hit you up on Twitter. And you want to do one more? You want to do one more game giveaway, Lo-Fi?
Yeah, let's do it.
What game?
Oh, I don't know. What do you got? What do you got in mind?
This is your time. This is your time, Lo-Fi. Tell me what game should we do?
Oh man. What's good right now?
See, if y'all stayed up late, you would have entered the game. So here we go.
What about City Skylines or something?
City Skyline, like $300 game?
One? No, not the no. Then what about I don't know, something. I'm just thinking of new games popping in my head. I don't know. You put me on the spot now.
Let's do it.
RE4. There you go.
Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4, y'all. Perfect. We're gonna do it. Right. We've not done Resident Evil 4. So let me do this. Let me do this. Keyword, and everybody, good luck, y'all. And this is happy holidays. ! RE4.
Hold on.
Exclamation mark. The one that looks like an eye. I always think it looks like an eye. Maybe it doesn't. Exclamation mark. RE4. Not hashtag. Exclamation mark. Exclamation
like
mark. Let's do. Yes, I got Lo-Fi. I have Lo-Fi. I have Rouster. I have Simpleton. I have Squids. Mr. Urban Roll. Not exclamation mark. Not hashtag. Exclamation mark. There we go. RE4. Ambi. Exclamation mark. RE4. Holtz. Do I see you, Holtz? But let me see. Like, did you do it, Holtz? And see, Holtz, you gotta do it. I don't actually have you. Hold on, I'm gonna do it. Do I have Sanchez in there with RE4? Let me see. It's gonna update. Okay. So if I say your name, I have you. Ambi. Holtz, I don't have you, but I have Ambi, I have Lo-Fi, I have Mr. Urban World, I have Rouster, I have Sanchez, I have Simpleton, I have Squids, and I have Quid. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think I have Holtz. Okay, now I have Holtz.
Right.
I have Ambi, I have Holtz, I have Lo-Fi, I have Mr. Urban World, I have Rouster, Simpleton, Sanchez, Squids, and Wit.
Okay. You got Mr. Urban World in there?
I got Mr. Urban World in there. That's Urban World. All right, good luck, everybody. This is for Resident Evil 4. This was a game of the year nominees. So y'all know, let me know, like, y'all, it's much easier if you have Cash App or PayPal or something like that.
Good luck
to everybody. Good luck. And Lo-Fi, you got your game last week, right? I sent it to you earlier this week.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you send it to me on Twitter?
All right, send it to you, whatever you have, gave it to me, Cash App or something like that. If not, let me know. All right, y'all, rolling it. I don't know. Oh my goodness.
What?
Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Because he's staying in the background, the game. Look at that. Lo-Fi. Look at that. You picked it.
It paid off. Hanging out. Look at that.
He just hanged out. All y'all hung out. Thank you. Crazy. So far, you got to play it. You got to play it on stream.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Congrats, Lo-Fi. And happy holidays, everybody. I think that is officially 12 games giveaway. Started around Thanksgiving. I think we did officially 12 games. No, Cowboy, thanks for coming out. Rigged Squids. Squids, we need to play. Hit me up, man. I want to play. Let me know.
Yeah, Squids. What's up, dude?
Let me know if you do Remnant, Squids. I would love to play Remnant with you if you do it. But all right, Lo-Fi, we'll hit. I need to make sure I send it to you. And
we need to talk because this whole thing about the brother and the saxophone thing, like, dude, I'm really into jazz. I'm really like, yeah. And my favorite saxophonist is Sam Hindle. I think I'm saying his name right. I might be saying it wrong.
I'll let you talk to. Like, yeah, he's been putting a lot of effort into trying to get his album out, and so all he wants to talk about. So I would love to potentially maybe I'll interview him.
Oh, that would be. I would be so into that.
I would tell y'all his album, but he says his name on it, so I don't want to like.
Yeah.
You know, but
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Lo-Fi, because
that'll be a backstage.
Yeah. All right, y'all. But thank you all so much. So y'all know this actually may stream next week.
So close,
I was just doing the days in my head. May still stream next week. But with that said, I don't care where you game, how you game, why you game, when you game, how long you've been gaming. As long as you're gaming, you're good with me. And as always, this is Purple Haze in the purple station, purple room, purple something. We'll figure it out. This is Purple Haze and the proof is in the plane. All right. Thank you all, everybody. Have a safe and happy holiday season. All right. Take care, all.